What is a journal article and why do I need to use them? So to consider what a journal article is, we're first going to think about a magazine. Get in your mind a magazine that you're familiar with. It might be one that you read yourself and you read it regularly, or it might be something that a family member or a friend reads, or it might be something that you read earlier in your life. That magazine has a subject focus. It might be about fashion, vehicles, hobby, music. There's a range of magazines on a range of different topics. Each of those magazines has articles within it. It's made up of a number of articles, all about that main topic, but each with a different focus. Those articles are written by a variety of authors. It's not just one person who's pulled this together. There's a staff team of writers, but there will also be freelance writers who will be providing input for each issue as well. Which leads to the next one, that you will be aware of which volume or issue this is. With a magazine, they're often published monthly, so it will have the name of a month on the cover to tell you when it was published. If they're weekly, it might just have the date that it was published, or there may be a number that shows you when that was issued. They also have page numbers to help you navigate them, so that if you know the article you're interested in particularly is on page 24, you can go straight there, read that article, and then put the magazine down afterwards. Journal articles have all of those features, but the purpose for them is slightly different. While the magazine you were thinking of was probably to help you learn more about a hobby, or it was for entertainment, a journal has a subject focus in the same way. It's also made up of articles that are written by a variety of authors, again, not just one person who's written the whole journal. They have volume numbers and issue information, and they have page numbers to help you navigate. The focus is slightly different though, because these are academic magazines. They have a topic, and then the articles are based on that topic, but they have an academic focus. So what are they for? Academic journals publish research papers, reports of research that's been carried out within the field of the topic of that journal. They inform the readers about new developments within that area. So practitioners will use them to help them make professional decisions. Consultants in hospitals, for example, will want to find out about new treatment options that may be relevant for a patient that they're supporting at that time. Social workers will look at that research to find out what new trends there are in terms of the social problems that they are supporting. Psychologists will use them to find out about new therapies that may be relevant for their clients. Engineers will look at them to find out about new materials and new methods of bonding those together and new designs and things like that. Start thinking about how practitioners in your subject area would use this kind of information. And therefore, if the practitioners are using this information, it's important for students to do so as well. Just because you're learning about your subject doesn't mean that you can't be exploring absolutely the latest developments within your subject area. So look out for that new research in the most recently published journal articles. It's important to be aware of the different types of research that are carried out so that you can understand what's being reported on within journal articles. The journal articles will report on primary research, which is where the researchers have carried out experiments or sent out surveys or questionnaires or have carried out observations and reported on those. They will also report on secondary research, which is reviews of existing research literature. They might be literature reviews, systematic reviews, and meta-analyses But secondary research is a really robust form of research because it's drawing upon a wide range of evidence. Plus, journal articles also include informative articles to help practitioners and students to learn about key aspects of that subject area. Coming back to research, that research can be qualitative research when it's data gathered from surveys or observations or discussions that is all about how people feel or perceive different things. Quantitative research, however, is statistical analysis of numerical data that might come from surveys and questionnaires, or it may come from databases of data that's then analysed. Mixed methods research brings those together and has some qualitative and some quantitative data that helps to inform the decision and the conclusion in that research. So as a student, what are you expected to do? How should you be using these? If you're using academic research evidence, it allows you to demonstrate that what you are saying in your assignments is true because it's been researched and then established by a conclusion within that research. And what you're doing when you're carrying out that process is evidence-based practice. That's really important for a lot of the subjects that are studied by students at the University of Staffordshire. But it also allows you to make comparisons between evidence in your assignment. And this is really good. It shows your critical thinking skills. It will allow you to make comparisons between different pieces of research. They might have been looking at the same thing, but come up with different conclusions. Or they might have been looking at something slightly different, but come up with the same conclusion. And you can explore that within your assignment. It will also allow you to make critical points about that research. You can identify the limitations of that evidence and maybe make recommendations about what could be done to overcome that. It also allows you to make critical points about the evidence. You can identify limitations of the research or the methods used within that research. Although it's also possible to make positive critical points where you can praise the methods being used and explain why they were the best way to do that. It's also important to use journal articles because your markers will be expecting you to have a balanced range of resources within your reference list. Depending on your subject area, because this does depend on what kinds of resources you're being told to use by your lecturers, you should try and aim for a third books, a third journal articles, and a third other resources within your reference list. The more journal articles that you're using, the more that's demonstrating your wider reading, and it shows how you are valuing the importance of academic evidence. So you might be thinking, yeah, this is something I'm going to do, but how can I find these journal articles? The best place to start is to use library search. Go to the library homepage and put some keywords on your topic into the bar at the top of the page. Hit search and that will take you into library search. The example on the screen, I've searched in library search, social media marketing. I've then filtered for journal articles and we can see we've got journal articles talking about that concept coming up in our results. You can also search library databases specifically. If you know there's a database that's related to your subject area, you can use the A to Z of databases. There's a link to that on the library homepage and also at the top of library search. Or you can use Google Scholar to find these as well, although be aware that not everything that you're going to find on Google Scholar you will have access to. If you use library search, we're providing access to all of those results for you for free. To summarise then, journal articles are basically academic magazine articles. If you're familiar with reading magazines, then you can get used to reading journal articles as well. They're reporting on academic research and academic level information, and they can and absolutely should be used to support your written work, to provide evidence for that. You can find journal articles via library search, via library databases, or Google Scholar. So what's your next step now you've watched this video? The next thing you should do is to watch our How to Read a Journal article video so that you can find out more about how to navigate each journal article and how to use the information provided within it. You should also practice finding journal articles using library search and practice reading them, and then aim to use a range of journal articles to support all of the assignments that you complete from now on. We hope you found this video useful, and good luck with using and reading your journal articles.